Hey, David, welcome. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't win. I just can't win. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. And I'm glad that it did get fixed in time. I would have preferred that they would have gotten the time a little better, because they finished it like 2 hours before the time they gave me, so I'd have preferred not to have had to put up the post in the first place, but I mean, they did get it fixed, and it's nothing that could be prevented. I went out there as soon as I heard it happen. I went out there and took a look at it, saw the carcass, and realized immediately what it was and reported it. So, but yeah, it's just one more thing in the long list of stuff that is that's played havoc with the streams here in the past 3 months. It's just it's been crazy. I mean, I'm old. That I've never been through a string of bad luck like this before. Yeah, it should be fun today. I'm not sure entirely how long it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take 3 hours, so we might have to end the stream a little early, because once we get past this, we're at a point of no return. And I'm not going to start that right now. But we'll kind of see how it goes. There are a few side things to pick up on while we go through this, both encounters, but for the most part it's not a long involved process like the previous two have been. There's no real big lead up or a bunch of preparatory stuff you have to do. You just go in and start a fight. So, but there are some interesting lore things and conversations that you can have that we're certainly going to have before we go in. Thankfully, these fights are not nearly as intense as the Raphael fight. In my opinion, the Raphael fight is the hardest single fight in the game. So these two today are going to be relatively easy. I actually don't know. My personal playthrough is quite a bit behind this one. What I've been doing instead to prep for the coming weeks is to play this playthrough here going forward and play it for 5 hours or so to get an idea about the content that's in it and the time it's going to take. Yesterday when I was playing through this, I played extra, and I went in, I went past the point of no return just to see what was there. I don't think that we're going to be able to finish it in the 3 hours next week. We might be able to, like I say, do today, and then whatever time is left, go past the point of no return and start working through the first part of that. But I don't want to do that because I haven't fully played through it all, so I haven't prepped for it all. So whenever we finish doing our stuff today, whenever that is, that's when the live stream is going to end, because I do not want to go into the Confront the Netherbrain quest, like I say, past the point of no return. Because I haven't played through it all yet. So I know what's in store. Like I say, I played about an hour past the point of no return, and I don't think, like I say, I don't think that we're going to be able to finish next week. I could be wrong. As I finish playing through it, I will see. Maybe we can. 3 hours is a bit of time, but I just don't know. Hey Dave, welcome. Thanks for being here. But we will definitely finish both of these live streams in 2 weeks. Both the Bard and the Paladin will be finished 2 episodes after today's episode. Hey Andy, thanks for being here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, there's a bit of workup before you even get to the upper city, because you have the whole exploration and working through the Morphic Pool to get to the Netherbrain. Then you have the Astral Prism section that you deal with. Then you have to work through the upper city, and then you get to the preliminary fight up the brainstem before the nether brain, and then you get to the nether brain. So there's a lot in there. So that's why I say I don't think that it'll be done next week. I think we're going to finish today, and then there will be 2 more episodes of this before we finish. And then the Bard playthrough, since we have to go back and replay the Raphael fight, because we party wiped at the end of last week's episode. We'll replay that. That's going to take the first hour, 45 minutes to an hour of the episode. And then we'll go through the same stuff we're going to see here. So there will be 3 more episodes of the Bard playthrough and probably 2 more episodes of the Paladin playthrough after this one. And then there will be a break. I think I pretty well decided that I'm going to take a break until the end of October on starting new live streams. Because, like I say, I think we'll be finishing these somewhere the first week of October. And I'll probably take some time in there and take a break from new live streams. The Honor Mode live stream will still be going. But probably take a break from new live streams until after the end of October, after Dragon Age releases. So I can see if that's going to be viable to go on the list. But I'll have a suggestion post up for people to offer new things that they want to see me play. Yeah, I hope so, Andy. I hope that a break away from the 2 live streams will maybe turn my luck around in my life so that my life doesn't keep interrupting them. Maybe I can get all my nat 1s rolled during that break, so we'll be ready to come back with some uninterrupted live streams. It's, I've watched YouTube a lot in my life, and it's funny, the streamers that I follow on YouTube, sticking to that schedule all the time. It seems so easy when you're on the outside looking in. And then while you're on the inside of it, all of these things that are completely outside of my control playing havoc with that. I didn't foresee it. So it's been a bit of a shock. It's been a bit of a surprise. It angers me that I'm not able to provide consistently scheduled content for all of you. Even if it's outside of my control, I still don't like it. And yeah, like I said, that's been the biggest surprise, being on the inside of the streaming thing here. So we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 51 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on an admin note, as I mentioned in the community post and on threads, or on other social media, the power went out this morning. The squirrel sacrificed its life this morning to take out power to 26 homes in the neighborhood here. And it took them a while to get that back. They got it back earlier than I expected, but they originally told me it wasn't going to be back until about 45 minutes from now. So the post went up to let everybody know that I wasn't entirely sure what was going to happen, but they did get it fixed. Hopefully we're past all of that and we can get on with things. Like I say, it's just one more thing. I'm incredibly frustrated. It's just one more thing that has prevented me from giving y'all consistent content, like I was mentioning in the chatting section. And I apologize for that. It frustrates me, but again, it just seems like there's a bunch of stuff outside of my control that's all piling on here, and hopefully we can get through a last couple of weeks here of these live streams without interruptions, but we'll see. I'm gonna knock on some wood later on here and see if I can get back to normal, so to speak. So I think that's it on admin notes. On our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had just finished the fight against Raphael. In my opinion, that is the hardest fight in the game. We did it here in a way that really helped us by being able to pre-position a bunch of explosives and that sort of stuff. In my Bard live stream, I was trying to do things different and wasn't able to utilize as much damage as I wanted to do against Raphael at the start. And that makes things much more difficult, as we saw. So even on balance mode, it is a very challenging fight. In honor mode, things get even harder to deal with, and we'll just kind of have to see how things go. But for now, we're gonna pick back up right after that fight is ended here, because we do have some things to do to finish up the ending of this quest chain. And then we're going to head out and get into a couple of big fights. Okay, so here we are. And hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Thanks for being here. So here we are, in the House of Hope, and we have finished up the fight. We've searched Raphael, Wer're, Corilla. The Vengeful Cambions don't have anything on them worth looting. You can go check on them and see there's tridents and stuff like that. If you're in honor mode, this stuff would matter. For me, it doesn't matter. I've got something like 60k gold between what's in my inventory and what's sitting in my camp chest. So I'm not too worried about looting everything else. So what we are going to do is immediately get ready to take a long rest. That fight, like I said, is hard. In my opinion, it is the hardest fight in the game. And we've taken our licks from it, not nearly as bad as what happened to us in the Bard playthrough, of course. But we're going to want to recover from this fairly quickly. But before we do, we're going to head back to the Devil's Fee.
So you wormed your way into the Devil's Lair, risked mind, limb, and freedom, and destroyed the contract that bound you. The contract you never should have signed. You realized the error of your ways and corrected them. But you would do better not to err in the first place, especially when there is so much at stake. You saw for yourself what the Chosen are capable of. But did you also see their weakness? Yes, precisely. It was their union that made them. They had an almost flawless plan to dominate Faerun, but their distrust is their undoing. We must not fall into the same trap. We must trust one another. I'm disappointed to hear that. Nonetheless, our fates are bound. And in the absence of a happier union, I will accept a useful one. You may think yourself ingenious for having slain a devil, but you have merely ironed out a wrinkle. The Elder Brain will not be such an easy foe. It is time we resume our journey to find it.
Okay, so
How do people do this all day?
let's head down here real quick, because we do, if you remember correctly, we have to resolve the issue with Helsik and the gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength, which are actually giving you Frost Giant Strength as an effect. So we already have Mark the Shifter on. We're going to need that for this here. So let's go ahead and have a conversation with Helsik.
Trips to the Hells are usually one way, especially when the traveler causes the kind of trouble you did. I knew you were a thief, didn't realize you were a killer. Raphael's death is already causing quite a stir across the Hells. It's a rare thing for a mortal to slay a devil of his stature. In all the excitement, I hope you didn't forget our bargain. Do you have the gauntlets?
Okay, so we have some options here. I can go with Deception here. We've got 14 to 17 number, plus I can add on Guidance here. So it's only a DC of 10 to start.
That invalidates our deal, I'm afraid. I fulfilled my part of the bargain, so you owe me the fee I proposed initially.
And now here we have an intimidation check. You can go ahead and just say I'm leaving and you can start a fight here. There's no real need to do that though. The intimidation check is again fairly low.
Not a subtle point, but well made. Keep the gauntlets. Your threats aren't necessary, but your coin is still welcome, Devil Slayer.
And that allows us to keep the gauntlets here. And also preserves Helsik as a vendor for us. So we can drop our disguise here. And this has been happening since the patch. Once you drop shapeshift, there's a lag in your character becoming usable. It's kind of strange.
Welcome back, Devil Slayer. What can I do for you?
So here you see that she's perfectly fine with everything that's transpired. Her attitude is still 100, so you have access to her inventory just like you previously did before all of this started. So no downsides to any of those checks or anything like that. While we're here, I think these are just the +1 weapons that we picked up. Yes, they are. We're going to clear out some of these items. And not our clothing. Because Helsik still has a lot of our money. And we want to get some of it back. And that means selling all of the 2,000 gold books. So that gets her down to 21 gold, so 16. These are close enough. There's nothing else that we really want from Helsik here. She doesn't have any elixirs. I guess I can take the potions of supreme healing, though. Those are always nice to have. Oh, we want to make sure we keep Mole's contract.
Now you've seen what I have for thee. Remember, discretion is key at the Devil's Fee.
And now we do, before we take our long rest, we want to go through the items that we picked up here. First, let's put all of our clothing back on. This was taken off because of the debtor outfits, which are now gone. So we can put those back on. So the Helldusk armor, obviously an upgrade over the Reaper's Embrace. So we are definitely going to apply that. The Reaper's Embrace, we don't have anybody that we want to wear it with, so we'll send it off to camp. The flawed Helldusk gloves we replaced with the regular versions. We don't have anybody that needs to use those now. So as for the rest of it, it's fine for now. Yeah, and I'll be doing some inventory management after today's episode. Because we're gonna have to get everything cleaned out before we head off. So now if we look at our map, we have a quest marker here for Impress the Murder Tribunal. And that's going into Candlehallow's Tombstones. We are certainly going to do that. But we want to have a full rest under our belt before we go do that. So we're going to head back to the Basilisk Gate, and we're going to take a long rest here.
I brought my own paring knife, and now
So we're going to go around really quickly and just hear everybody's reactions to Raphael.
Ah, damn it! To end a devil in the hells is to end him for true. Boor was hoping to make a hobby of killing Raphael over and over again.
That's the last of Raphael. I'll be glad to no longer have to suffer his smug face.
To slay a devil in his domain is to end him entire. Or it should be. I am still primed to hear some slimy final rhyme from beyond the grave.
Hopefully not.
Raphael's good and gone. Feels damn good too. Now, if only I could get rid of the other devil in my life.
Raphael is no more. I shall not shed any tears.
Okay, so we'll head over here.
No amount of contracts will save Raphael from the fate we forced upon him. A devil well slain, if I say so myself.
Defeating a devil in his own home feels very, very good, actually.
Okay, so nothing else here, so let's just go ahead and take our long
Seems
rest.
simple enough.
Actually, we'll talk to Mizora.
Ready and waiting.
No comment. Missed opportunity there, I think. Okay, so let's get everybody brought over here.
There is work to do. On I go.
No time to rest. Something's on my mind.
This vessel is at thy disposal.
But the vessel only stares blank.
This soul.
And you see something that's now different. I brought Shadowheart over here, and she's not moving. Used to be you would click on a point. Oh, now she decides to move. Just as I said that, she decides to take off. They stick in place longer now than they used to while they're at camp. So if I move her around, and this is the first time I've tested and gone through this.
Let's move.
Yeah, see? They stick around in place. As soon as you click off them, they no longer immediately leave, which makes it a lot easier to do these things. Where's Missouri going? So yeah, it's something I've noticed since the patch, is that there have been some changes in how camp interactions work, as far as them sticking around in a place.
I'd be delighted. Those magical.
Might be useful.
Okay, we're just gonna pick these things up because I was too busy talking. Okay, so let's do a quick bit of inventory management here. Not much. There's not a whole lot to do. And we're gonna split this. Send off all that gold. I'll sell that off. Okay, I've got 2 alchemy pouches here.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we don't need the safeguard shield.
What now?
Whoops, she still had camp supplies.
What a day.
Okay, so we will go pop over and sell off the remaining portions of that. We're going to need the handbag here. We're going to go through some more of this after we finish clearing it out, but there will be some things that we'll want to
One with the weave.
Get rid of out of this. Okay. So let's leave camp.
Not as bad as it could have.
And we will immediately get our buffs going here.
Seek and you shall find me.
Or Gale. Get his arcane words up. And he's is a level 8 wizard, so that will max at 16. So that's our last one, and we'll cast Armor Agathis. Then he will equip the Drake Throat Glaive. Cast Elemental Weapon. He does have Baldur's Giant Slayer on his back. He does. Otherwise, we would have to change to it on him before we did that.
Is that blood?
Okay, and we won't need animal speaking, but we might as well.
Light on my feet.
Okay, and now we're going to head around the corner over here. Toward the quest marker. Now, Candlehallow's Tombstones, the entrance is right over here.
Never much time for lords myself.
Okay, so this is it. We should have a key, and we do. So I need to make a couple of changes here. Okay, I still have a bunch of these left, so I don't need to make any changes. So in here, various things that you can search. Again, you're going to find items few and far between in here, nothing really spectacular. So again, you don't have to worry about searching a whole lot of this if you don't want to, but if you are in honor mode and you're looking to pick up everything you can, then sure, go through everything. But what you're really looking for is this room here.
You laid for the goddess. You must have
Now,
some
there's
sort
a
of tale to
perception
tell.
check that you can make in here.
I lay with the mother of magic herself.
It's pretty hairy. It is not an easy check to make. We're going to try it with Shadowheart, because I believe Shadowheart is the best perception roll that we have. Yeah, +7. Or I guess Astarion's the best at +7. So we'll try it with Astarion. We're going to give him the shield. We're going to give him Shapeshifter's Boon. And we will have Shadowheart cast Guidance on him.
Careful.
But this is just to illustrate the check. You don't have to pass it. Okay. We still failed it. It's a 25 DC. So, I rolled 1s on Mark of the Shifter and Guidance as well. So, even with a medium roll, I still needed to roll a 16 there if I was going to roll a 1 on Mark of the Shifter and Guidance. The perception check is to find what is hidden behind here.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay, there's a button on the wall. And that button opens the bookcase here.
Keep your distance, darling. Oh, for a skeleton king.
So again, you don't have to pass the perception check. as long as you have followed this, you'll know that it's there, and you'll be fine. Now, there is a note here. You seek the Tribunal, let death be your guide for what is behind death but murder. And
Still alive, so that's progress.
the note is a clue. Death is represented here by the skull in the painting. What is behind death but murder indicates that the way to murder, which is the murder tribunal, is behind death, which is portrayed in this painting on the wall. So that's the clue that you're supposed to know to be able to find that button. A little bit vague, in my opinion, but like I say, is what it is. You don't need it. All you have to do is pull the painting off the wall and you're good. So now we'll interact with the door.
Locked door has red text on it reading, "All are weighted, all are embraced. None shall escape."
Okay, we know the password. And this allows us entry into the crypt. Right? Now, the crypt is fairly straightforward. It did upgrade or update a couple of quests. The Impress the Murder Tribunal and Investigate the Murders. These are both down here to culminate with the Murder Tribunal. So we can do some searching down here. There's not a whole lot that's worthwhile down here.
No traps, please.
Flaming fists this way.
Okay, so flaming fists are meant to go that way. So that would probably tell you something about what's happening here. So we are not going to go that way. So again, just a random assortment of items and trash to pick up down here. And now you get to this end section here. And if you do want to explore this area, this is a way to do it. We're going to do it with Astarion. We're going to have him add on a bonus to his perception checks. And being able to fly here is very useful. And there's some gold down there. So if you fly back this way, you're going to find the traps that are down here in this area that will set all of this off.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
Okay, so that's what I mean. I think there's another one in there as well. Maybe over more toward this side. But yeah, the whole area is trapped. You don't want to go in there. Just fly your way in there, and then when you're done, just fly your way back out.
I have to keep going.
Present me well from gifts thine own, or I shall rend thy flesh from bone.
Okay, so there are 3 guards here. The question here is that you have to present severed hands as proof that you have committed a murder. Now, we've got a bag of hands from Dolor, and we have Gortash's hands, so we have more than enough here to be able to offer up proof.
A grasping hand, an offering vile. Enter now the Dreadlord's trial.
Now, there are 3 different ones: that which lurks, that which guards, and that which watches. And you can see they're all Death Knights. These are very similar to the Oathbreaker Knight that is in our camp. And they are Paladins, and they do hit really, really hard. There is a way around that, though, in that you don't have to fight them at all. Just make your way through. If you stay away from the door while you have this fight later, then as soon as Sarevok dies, they die with them, and you don't have to have a confrontation with them at all.
What's hiding here?
Okay, so we'll move past them and we'll move into this room here. Now you can see the Murder Tribunal. So you can see that there are 3 echoes up here. If we move farther into this room, maybe we can see... Yeah, we'd have to move a little bit farther to see Sarevok spawn. But we can certainly do that. Yeah, there's Sarevok. So, for those of you who did not play Baldur's Gate 2, you won't be shocked by a high hit point enemy sitting up here. For everybody else who's played Baldur's Gate 2 20 years ago, this is a massive surprise. We supposedly ended Sarevok back at the culmination of that game, when we saved Baldur's Gate from him and the Bhaalist takeover that he was trying to implement for the city 20 years ago. So it was a very, very interesting throwback for Larian to put into the game. We were all really, really shocked to see it. But it is like I say, a good way to pay homage to the previous games, even though Larian were not the developers on those games. So we're going to go ahead and move in here.
You gaze upon murder's progeny, child.
His most ill-trusted zealots.
His faithful departed.
Prodigal servants, each returned to do his bidding eternally.
This man is known to all Baldurians, and his presence sparks dread in the pit of your stomach. Before you is Sarevok Arnchev, a Bhaalist who almost brought Baldur's Gate to ruin a century ago. Davella was right. Not just an imitator, but Sarevok himself.
This is the court of the Dread Lord's Tribunal. I am its custodian. Here come those who seek to transcend, aspirants of his most profane order, the would-be unholy assassins of Bhaal. A long while ago, my wretched sibling brought me back. The fairest of Bhaal spawn soul-bound me to this husk. Worship death though I do, I refused it. I roamed the coast, gathering those who still held Bhaal in their black hearts. The cult survived, festering beneath the city, with me as the gate's everlasting poison. But no more.
For poison is too slow a death. Now is the time for slaughter. With these killings, the glory of the Bhaal has risen beyond what we dreamed possible during those dark days. But the worship of my lord is led by another now. My granddaughter, Orin. The youngest unholy assassin ever to follow in Bhaal's bloody trail. And his chosen. She is the architect of Bhaal's design. Bhaal has never had a more gifted prodigy. Orin's gift surpassed even her mother's. Her mother knew this, and she could not bear it. When Orin was but 7 years old, she tried to smother the child as an offering to our Lord. I heard the screams. I ran to help, but feared for the child's life. But the cries were not Orin's. It was her mother's blood that soaked the sheets. Orin had cut off the very hand that tried to end her, and made a plaything of it. And as she toyed with her dead mother's hand, a deep quiver rose up through her throat. The Lord of Murder speaking through the child. Lay not a finger on this child, he said, nor let any other, for this child will serve me with unholy ardor. Protect her in my name.
So another shocking revelation there, with Orin being Sarevok's grandchild, and the fact that she murdered her own mother while her mother was trying to murder her. It's an interesting family dynamic.
My lord made his choice. I abided by his words. And so it is that Orin now leads his temple and draws aspirants to his creed. But Orin is not the subject of our judgment here today. You wish to become an unholy assassin of Bhaal. So, approach and be judged. Let us begin. Spirit of the slaughtered, return to us. Show us the truth of this murderer's intent, and let us judge him for his bloody service.
His will be done.
You took this spirit's life, and thus its voice. So, speak for it. How was this pitiable creature slain?
Okay, now we have Gortash's hand here, and that's why we're seeing Gortash being brought up. If you do not have Gortash's hand, if you've come here before going to Gortash, and you have the bag of hands, you did not kill any of those people whose hands are in that bag. So it's going to bring one of them up, and now you're going to have to pass a deception check. Otherwise, he's going to realize that it wasn't you that killed any of those people. It was somebody else. So here, having come here after Gortash, there's no check you have to make, because you're the one that actually killed it.
Reverence. Zeal.
Long may he reign.
Your offering pleases Lord Bhaal. Your words delight him. You slaughter well, aspirant. You are deemed worthy. Enter the Dreadlord's abattoir and submit to his will.
Okay, so now the echoes have all disappeared, and we can go follow Sarevok into the other chamber here. Now there are upper areas up here that you can go look at. There's nothing of any consequence. Go look out around there. So we're just going to head into the abattoir here.
You stand now on the cusp of the Dreadlord's favor. One killing secures your rebirth as an unholy assassin of Bhaal. The slaughter of a celestial being. Make violence of its goodness. Spill its blood. And bathe in Bhaal's eternal rapture.
I know you! Do not listen to this ancient fuck! Free me at once!
Okay, so here is your main choice here. We know who Valeria is. We saw her throughout the start of this. So you have a choice to either save her or kill her. If you kill her, whoever lands the killing blow will become an unholy assassin of Bhaal. There are a couple of perks that go along with that. However, this definitely will break your oath as a paladin. I've already broken my oath before I got here, but I was planning to break my oath here if I hadn't done it already. I hate Valeria. She's annoying, she was condescending, she didn't do her job as an investigator for murders. Left it to us, she was dismissive of all of it. Doesn't necessarily mean that she needs to die, which is why you will break your oath here. But otherwise, you can instigate a fight here. Now, the fight here is going to be more difficult than if you have this fight later. So, one way or another, if you are a paladin, I would still, and you don't want to break your oath, I would still suggest that you break your oath and then go deal with it later. If you have the way to reinstate your oath, you're limited, I think, to doing it 3 times, I think. So if you have a spare one left, then I would recommend doing it this way. But otherwise, you can start a fight here if you'd like. But we are not.
Spare no violence for the Dreadlord's grace, and savor every moment of the creature's slaughter.
Okay, now that's going to start the initiative here. We're going to go in with our paladin, but you can go in with anybody. Now, it doesn't really matter who you do it with. There's a conversation option that comes up after this, or as part of something else associated with this later. That if that person is the unholy assassin, when they go have the conversation, it's going to bring up some other things. So that's why I'm going to do it with my paladin here. And you can see that there are a bunch of Tribunal ghosts around the outside, as well as the 3 echoes in here. So having to fight everybody here is more, obviously more difficult than fighting just these 3 and Sarevok later, but the choice is yours. So I'm going to go ahead and end Valeria.
Someone will stop you, Bhaalist. When they do, I hope it hurts.
Behold, Father, baptized in your most wretched name, a new, unholy assassin.
His most unholy will be done.
I bestow upon you the amulet of Bhaal, the vestment of his most unholy servants. With this amulet, he grants you entry to his chambers, the Undercity Temple of Bhaal. The portfolio of murder passes into your hands. Do it justice. Enact slaughter befitting a god.
Okay, and that's going to update a couple more quests. First, we did complete Impress the Murder Tribunal. We have investigated the murders because we are now unholy assassins, and Orin now obviously wants to see us. We now have access to the temple because of the amulet that we just got. So that's opened up the way for us to venture there. So inside the room, we have a note that has the investigation priorities on it. Doesn't really matter. She decided she wasn't going to do any of that. And then we have a small gilded chest that's kind of hidden back here.
Watch your back. Let's hope for gold. Let's crack it open.
Okay, with a 20 DC. Rolling really low on Mark of the Shifter today. That's the second one that we've seen out of it. And in here you're going to get various things. The Elixir of Viciousness is really nice. Wyvern Toxin for sustained poison is also nice. And then here is Sarevok's kind of journal. About what he's been through to get resurrected and all of that sort of stuff.
One day I'll catch a break.
It's a fairly interesting read if you would like to go through it, and if you're familiar with it. Actually, no, I think this goes to the other one. I don't think it goes to that one. So, these are Valeria's items. But yeah, I don't think that key goes to that chest. I think it goes to the other one. Or on the other side. So now Sarevok and the 3 echoes are back in here, but we now have a 4th echo. This echo only appears if you have become an unholy assassin.
I want to have a word.
You have killed well, unholy assassin. I am here to further your slaughter. In life, I was a Barzigal, kin killer of the 5. In death, I serve our father still, until the world grows silent. I offer you instruments which will aid in enacting your foul whims. The weakness was my disgrace, but it was an honor to give myself to Bhaal's embrace. There is no shame greater than failing in his service. But even so, each death is a gift. The 5, my order of father's spawn, were among the first to carve the philosophy that Sarevok's death began. We led our worship by killing the weakest of our own line, writing kinslaying into the canon. We hunted down his insipid fledglings in droves, until we were all that was left. all but Sarevok's own murderer, who murdered me in turn. I am no half-blooded drake. Alive, I was a dragon of pure cerulean chrome, but oft the need arose to disguise myself thus.
And at the end of the day, he's a vendor. Now, here, the items that he's going to sell are... One of them is incredibly powerful, but all of them have some sort of utility. So he's always going to have crawler mucus, which is a paralyzing poison, so I always tend to pick those up. He's always got the other poisons as well up here, so he's got a whole list of them, and they're always guaranteed to be here after you do a level up. So you can stock up on all of these if you'd like. He does have another Duller Amorous, in addition to the one you could have picked up from Dolor. You can now get another one here, so you can dual wield them. So when you land a crit with a weapon or unarmed attack, it deals an additional 7 damage. So you can dual wield these and then only attack using your bonus action, Flurry of Blows, and stack up 14 additional damage on those crits. And people wonder, how do I do an unarmed attack if I'm dual wielding these? Well, you can do it with, as a monk, using the bonus action or Flurry of Blows. So having 2 of these as a monk can up damage quite a bit on critical hits. You miss out on substantially being able to use your action to trigger your bonus action unarmed attack. You no longer have that available to you when you're dual wielding these, so there's a trade-off there, but there is an option for doing it that way. The Dread Iron Dagger is part of a set of Dread Iron items, so while you're hidden, you deal an additional 1d6 necrotic damage. So then we have the Flesh Render. This is just a regular Githyanki short sword. However, the proficiency unlock is part the flesh. So it's a once per short rest type of thing, and part the flesh lasts for 3 turns, where they cannot heal afterward. It can do a bunch of damage, but most of those riders are coming from me, with the exception of the +4 necrotic that comes with it. The fire, cold, and acid come from other items with me as a character. But the rest of it, once per short rest, you can do a fairly impressive damage-wise attack that also lands basically chill touch, so that they can't heal. The Vicious Battle Axe is the same thing as Duller Amorous, just with a Battle Axe form. When you land a crit, you do an additional 7 damage. The Vicious Shortbow is the shortbow version of that. So again, a crit, you do 7 damage. Then we get into the meat and potatoes of this. So the Assassin of Bhaal Cowl, you can see in the dark up to 3 meters. In addition, you get a +2 bonus to initiative rolls. And it gives you the See Invisibility spell that lasts until long rest. And you can use it once per short rest. So this is another way to gain that See Invisibility trait for free. Basically, just put this on at the start of your short rest and use it, and now you have that available to you. The +2 bonus to initiative rolls is really nice. The Ballless Gloves gives you a straight up +1 bonus to all of your attack rolls, which is great. It's really nice to have. It also comes with Garrote. Now, we saw Garrote way back in Act 2 with the measles that came after us. You wrap a shadow rope around a throat and start garroting it, and it lasts for 3 turns. And garroting it, the entity is silenced. It takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage per turn. Okay, so if the entity, and it can't move, once it's garroted. If the entity and the garroter move more than 5 meters apart, this condition ends. So as long as you stay near them while they can't move, then it's going to continue the garrote. So it's a strength save, it's a concentration, so you have to maintain it if you get hit. But it can be very, very useful, especially if you can land it against something big, where you might have hexed a saving throw on strength or something like that. Or not hexed it, but you diminished a strength saving throw, something like that. And last is the Crater Flush Gloves. Whenever you score a crit, you deal an additional 1d6 force damage. That's nice. The previous versions of those, I believe Astarion was wearing previously, the Stalker Gloves, where your sneak attack deals an additional 1d4 force damage. Now your crits can deal an additional 1d6. And again, a 1d6 is a fairly rare damage writer to have. The main thing here, though, is the Ballast Armor, and this is why you kill Valeria. Enemies within 2 meters become vulnerable to piercing damage, unless they are resistant or immune to it. There aren't a lot of enemies that are resistant or immune to piercing damage, and you're going to see that kind of play out. And if they're not, then as soon as you go in for a melee attack, they become vulnerable and they take double damage from piercing damage. You gain a +2 bonus to initiative rolls, which is obviously very nice. But things to remember, Duelist Prerogative is piercing damage. It's a rapier. Other things that Astarion has, like the Knife of the Undermountain King, it's a short sword, it's piercing. The Pellar Sun Blade, piercing. Rhapsody, piercing. Sword of Life-Stealing, piercing. So all of these things can now do double damage on all of the piercing damage that comes with having them. So that makes the melee attacks that you make against enemies incredibly powerful for the build that we have for Astarion. Now they're expensive, 2,400. That's well above the 1,600 gold where we should be raising his attitude. I just don't care. I have so much gold that I'm not worried about it at all. And I still have some things that I can sell off here. So let's just clear out these things from our inventory again that we've picked up. Where's Mole's contract at? Okay, still down here. Good. Okay, so that's offering 26-27. That's more than enough to pick up these things here. I normally don't pick up the rest, but like I say, feel free to pick them up if they go along with the builds that you're going in for.
Go forth, unholy assassin. Desecrate in your stride.
Okay, so here immediately we're going to transfer over to Astarion. Now the Armor of Agility is much better from an armor class perspective. So he's going to lose 3 armor class here. But the bonus, he's sacrificing defense for damage, is basically how this is going to work. So he's now down to a 20 armor class, but now that Aura of Murder means that all of his attacks with Duelist Prerogative are going to be double damage whenever he makes them. So it's an impressive piece of equipment to have, basically. And now we'll put everything previously back on, and I need to look and see how I want to do this. Because he's wearing the Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength, which even though we have finesse weapons, finesse uses your dexterity instead of your strength only if your dexterity's higher. So right now he's getting a much bigger bonus because of the strength that he has because of the Gauntlets of Hill Giant strength. So I think I'm going to leave those on there and not use the ballless gloves. The Assassin of Bhaal, though, okay, so he has the sea invisibility trait. That's going to last until long rest. Now, does it go away when I remove this? It does not. So it stays. So I lose the additional +2 to initiative rolls that this grants. But I get all of the other benefits here. The Helldusk helmet, mainly being able to fight in darkness. As well as the saving throw bonus, which is nice. And now I have 2 people that have sea invisibility. That's going to become fairly important coming up here in a little bit.
On my way. Here goes nothing.
Okay, so there's another door over here. Various things that you can search. In here, and another metal door. Okay, now in here, okay, we learn more about the ballless cult down here and what they've been acquiring and how they've been doing it. You can read more of the lore behind Sarevok. This talks about his daughter and his granddaughter and how that all played out. Crafting ingredients, including a divine bone shard, which are really nice. More clothing.
Let's have a look.
And another heavy chest in here with a potion of supreme healing, which is good. And the key to all of these cells is right down here on the keychain. Now you can explore the individual cells. There's not a whole lot in each individual one. However, there is a body of
I'm ready.
a flaming fist here.
Let's see this done.
The corpse has nothing to say.
That gets Speak with the Dead active again, which is going to be important a little bit later on. You can't see in here, so I'm going to move into tactical view. And you learn more about Quill. Now, we remember Quill, right? From our honor mode playthrough. The bard at camp, who we ended up sacrificing in place of Alfira.
Here we go.
Okay, and just some other random items that you could pick up in here if you'd like. Dinner planning. Some fairly gruesome dinner plans that they're going to have. Now, we're going to actually come back to this. I did not do this in my testing, but I want to leave them here and try something else first. I'm going to go have the confrontation with Orin first. If you kill Sarevok here, Orin is going to know about it. And she gives you a dialogue line that says, "His was not your blood to spill. It was mine." And I want to see if something I'm going to do during that confrontation leads to a different set of dialogue options. And then if it does, then we'll come back here and we'll deal with Sarevok afterward. And he's probably going to be angry at that point, because we'll have killed his daughters, or his granddaughter, and we might have to actually fight our way through the guards here because of it. I'm willing to do that just because, like I say, I want to test out some of this dialogue, the possible dialogue options of stuff we're going to learn about a little bit later. Now, we can't fast travel out of here. We're red bordered. So let's make our way back. Head up. Now we need to go see Orin, and for that we're going to head to the Undercity Ruins. We have the Temple of Bhaal waypoint unlocked, but we didn't do much exploration down here. We basically just immediately went in and found Dribbles the Clown's head down here. And we want to quickly go look at the rest of this area. I don't think we have the key to this. We don't.
What a day. A crooked touch.
Let's get going.
Okay, so back around this way. There are some other things that you can pick up back here.
Something good here, I hope.
But nothing that, again, we're too concerned about. We've been up here up top during the fight that we had. Back here around the back. Okay, back in here in this area, again, some more stuff that we can search if you're interested in picking all of this up. And that leads you into this back room here. There's always more camp supplies down here that you can pick up from this area. We've been in this room before. This is where 3 of the archers were. Or we didn't. They came out of this room when we went looking for them. This is the direction that we went earlier. This leads you up here to the 2nd floor. And we have a smoke powder barrel that I want to pick up. There aren't that many smoke powder barrels left in the game here. And I would prefer to have 2 more. I don't think I'm going to end up getting 2 more. 2 more items you can pick up here. Order of the Keen Strike, we learned about that. We saw some of them during the fight that we had crossing the bridge here. So now we've opened up almost all of the map here. We just have this one little section which is over here. Yes. I believe there's a chest here at this end. Okay, no, it's down. Yeah, I think it's up here. It's been a while since I've been here to look at this. Okay, no, it's not here. It's on the other side over there where we just were. Okay, wait for everybody to climb the ladder, of course, one at a time. Why am I stuck up here? Thank you. Camera. Okay. Yeah, nothing down around this side. Oh no, I know where that chest is. Yep, sorry. I was thinking of a different chest. So, here we're going to head into the temple itself, and we're going to go up here and look at this part first. And again, we just kind of made a beeline through all of this previously, didn't take a look at much of it. You can jump up here and search the skeleton, but there's not a whole lot there. We're going to head down here. Okay, you're getting a save here, and you're getting that save for a very specific reason.
Cranium rats. They swarm when an Elden Ring is near. We must be close to its hiding place.
Okay, and that should be a hint.
Turn back. We must have all the Netherstones before we approach the brain.
Okay, so this is a hint that this is where we're going to need to go after we've gathered all the Netherstones. Specifically, you're going to want to click on this skiff over here, and that's going to take you to the Morphic Pool, which is once you click on the skiff, that's a point of no return. You are then locked into the end game when you do that. So this lets you know exactly where we're going to have to go once we finish dealing with Orin. Okay, we're going to head down here where we were. This is where we found Dribbles the Clown's head. You remember? I can't remember if we searched up here, or it doesn't look like we did. Okay, there's a chest back here. Okay, just some crafting ingredients, nothing special. We got a hyena here, which is good. Now we're going to head down toward the temple itself. I think we've opened up most of this. We still have this little area over here to look at. And I guess down here, but there's nothing that much down there. Here, just a couple of elevated spots with some crates that you can search, but there is, if I remember right, a chest up here. Yep, there is. Potion of Supreme Healing, nice. And then some more crates up here you can go look at. Down here around this corner, there's nothing else. Down here, just this chest. Actually, I forgot this was here. Good thing I clicked down in this area. Okay. Now we can make our way to where we would come in at the waypoint. Okay, and for this, I want to have Shadowheart with, or Astarion with the Sentinel Shield. Give me advantage on the perception checks.
Keep a blade close.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Let's get on with it.
My male cat decided to jump up in front of the TV and I can't see the menu bar. There we go. Thanks, buddy. No, I did not want to do that.
Don't touch me. Let's move.
Be careful. There are traps about.
Okay, so let's not take any chances here. Let's just put on the gloves so that we have advantage. Hopefully we don't roll double nat ones.
Oh dear.
You don't have to disarm these vents. If we disarm the pressure plates, they mean nothing.
Be careful. There are traps about.
Oh, at 20, nice.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
Another one. Uh-oh. Back-to-back nat 20s is not good for the fight that's coming up, I don't think.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
All right. And now we've cleared open the way to the door. We're gonna go across the way over here real quick, just to again kind of open up the map. There's nothing in particular over here.
He did not know. He did not revel in the glory of.
There is a chest over here, I believe.
He did not revel in the glory of what is to come.
I don't think there's one up here. Yeah, there's not. I think it's up here on top of this roof. Yes, there it is right there. Black and summer green dye. It's an actually a cool looking dye to have. And then you can see that this takes us back up to the top above where the waypoint is. Okay, where we came in. You have a way to come down this way and around, or this way and around, either one.
These things have stayed interesting.
Alright, so let's go deal with Orin. Now, this fight is... it's very all or nothing, is how I classify it. So once we get in here, we'll talk about it real quick.
Stone seals this chamber against the world. The Bhaal amulet trembles in frightened awe. Will you return once you cross this threshold?
Okay, so here inside this room, we'll go in and we'll get oriented. you have a bunch of Nightblades and Reapers and Death's Heads that are up here. They are not hostile, and they don't normally go hostile throughout the combat. Down here on the central platform, you have 6 Reapers, and they all have this outline around them. They are all engulfed in Sanctuary, so you cannot target them directly. And while even one of them is alive, the Death's Head back here in the back is active. That Death's Head at the end of every turn will buff Orin, and you will see that during this fight. The other thing, you can't really see it very well right now, but laying on that slab is Lae'zel. She was kidnapped from our camp. Now, this is where things start to get difficult, because I think this is probably a bug in the game that was never fixed, but Lae'zel is locked. She's shackled into that stone altar there. It takes a DC 25 lockpick or sleight of hand check to release her, which you certainly can. However, whether you release her or not, if she dies in this chamber, she cannot be resurrected. She is permanently dead. So when you're having the fight here, you never want to be positioned anywhere near this central altar, because you can get AoE spells or abilities cast that can damage her while she's sitting there locked into the altar. And she can just be sitting there on the altar and die because of AoE stuff. So you don't ever want to be positioned around this. You want to fight away from the central altar at all times. You can release her later if you would like, releasing her during the fight by going greater invisibility and then unlocking it and freeing her is certainly possible. However, she has all the same gear and weapons and stuff that she had when she was kidnapped. That was several levels ago, so she's severely underleveled right now from both an offensive and a defensive standpoint. So you really don't want to release her. You don't want to have anything to do with her. You don't want to save her yet. Save her at the end when there's no chance that she's going to die. Okay? Orin is down here, and she has 2 helpers. Now, the 2 helpers down here are incredibly dangerous. The one on the left casts Stunning Gaze. It's a Death's Head. So if you get stunned, you're just locked in place and you just get beat on because of it. So she's incredibly dangerous. The one on the right casts Slow, which means you can't use your extra attacks or your bonus actions or your reactions, which severely limits your damage output. So getting rid of them is a priority during this fight. We're going to go do something first, because again, I said that the upper area, nobody up here is hostile to us, and you won't trigger anything until you go down these steps. So if you stay up here, you're fine. We're going to go all the way around this upper area, and there's rescue Orin's victim. You can see Lae'zel in the middle, and here's the altar that's locked. And yes, Andy, I certainly will. Good call. Let me check through Astarion's equipment here. No. Okay, so it's just the gloves that we had on him, and everybody else was fine, right? Yes. Now we do want to, and we don't have to do it right now, but I might as well do it while I'm thinking about it. We want to put on Mark of the Shifter here.
salvage the city.
Mutatis mutandis!
Because we are going to have a fairly healthy check that we're going to have to make here in a little bit. I'm going to go through this opening here. Leads you into this back cave, which if you follow it, leads you into the Chosen's room. Now there are, again, invokers and death's heads and everybody else in here, but they are not hostile at this point, like I said. So we're going to go in here into Orin's room. And over here is Orin's mother.
No time to dally.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Orin, my daughter. I tried to kill her, but she killed me first. I wanted to be Bhaal's chosen. Sarevok told me she must be my offering. I was close, my hand around her throat. I failed.
Okay, so Sarevok left a little something out of his explanation there. He said that Bhaal demanded that she do it. Actually, it was he that told her to do it. So he ordered his daughter to kill his granddaughter to become the Chosen.
No, she worshipped him, loved him. So did I. Baldur's Gate, Brandon District. Helena Anchev, daughter of Sarevok, mother of Orin.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Hey, Solo, you're just in time for the big fight. Welcome. So now we learned a little bit extra, and this is why I wanted to do the fight in this order. In my playthroughs previously, my off-stream playthroughs, I've killed Sarevok first. And I never got a dialogue option to discuss this whole thing with Orin about who ordered her mother to kill her. And I want to see if this opens up some additional dialogue options, if Sarevok is still alive when I go and do this.
Let's try this way.
A fallen Bhaal spawn here. Okay.
All the hallmarks of a protracted torture. Orin clearly enjoyed herself here.
If you look at the portrait, what does this remind you of? It reminds you of all of the trailers that happened for the Dark Urge. And that's because this is the Dark Urge. The Dark Urge wanted to become a chosen of Bhaal, and Orin killed him here in this playthrough, because we are not doing the Dark Urge playthrough. Orin has killed the Dark Urge. He did not succeed in his mission to become a chosen of Bhaal. In our honor mode playthrough, this body will not be here, because I am playing as the Dark Urge. So it's something interesting that they've thrown in there.
All right.
Larian did. And And then there's a chest over here.
Should be easy.
Pretty healthy DC. So we're going to change these things out and then immediately change them back after we lockpick it, so we don't forget. And in here, more poisons.
No time to rest.
Okay, so we are not going to head out this way. This way will lead us right up to the altar. We're not going to do that. We're going to fly back up here. Stop. Stop. Okay. Gale, move toward the door there.
Yes? Wait. Let's move.
That scared me.
Very well.
Pathing. It's still trying to scare me. So, actually, I take that back. We're going to leave everybody in here just to be safe. I know where the detection cones are out here, and we'd be fine out there on the ledge, but no reason for me to do it. I'm going to put everybody in hiding. I'm going to split the group, and I'm going to keep Astarion and my Paladin together. The reason is because Astarion has alert. We're going to need it.
Don't want to think about why my eye is itching.
In this fight. We want to get our people out in front of this fight as quickly as we can. Because like I say, if we get stunned...
Keep your blade close. Still alive. So progress.
If we get stunned, we've got a serious problem. So I'm hoping that Astarion rolls in front of everybody. And when he does that, I have the opportunity to bring everybody else into combat. I mean, Gale and Shadowheart into combat. Where my Paladin rolls in the initiative is wherever they roll. They don't have the alert feat. I don't have any of the elixirs of vigilance. I don't believe. Oh, I do have one. That would get rid of my strength bonus. I don't think I'm going to. Because I think I know what's going to happen. I think, or I hope, Astarion rolls high. Then Orin rolls. And then my Paladin is going to roll, like I say, either before or after these two. If one of them does get stunned, then the other one is still going to be alive, and I can use Shadowheart with her freedom of movement to snap them out of stun. I would prefer to use Shadowheart for something else during this fight, but I have zero problem using her to snap them out of that stun. So let's go ahead and head in here. There's no real buffs that I need as far as other elixirs. I've got my Hill Giant, my Cloud Giant strength here for my Paladin. There's nothing else that I really need here because honestly, except for the start of this fight, it's really not all that bad. But it's in 2 phases, and we'll kind of look at that as we go. So let's head down here and start off phase 1. Now, actually, before I do that, I take it back. I need to go do one other thing. Actually, I can do it here with Astarion.
How would you have done
I have Mark of the Shifter. I need guidance. So I'm going to have Astarion cast it. Going to immediately put that back on. And now go in here while it's still running.
Can't slow down.
smell it. Gortash's corpse stain. His killer approaches. See how good I was? How patient while you drained the tyrant's juices for me. I left the blood inside, the pelt unskinned. Oh, but I had such plans for this one. And the blade was made to slice.
Now, if you had killed Sarevok, you're going to get an additional line of dialogue in there that after she talks about you killing Gortash, she will say that, again, killing of Sarevok was, his blood was not mine to spill, it was hers. So I haven't seen these dialogue options because, again, I'm playing this differently.
Yes, we did. We made a pact, sealed in Father's sight. You are the one Bhaal craves. Yours is the crimson that should clot my altar. All the Lordling's pretty plans bleeding out in the gutters. And soon, your crimson will join his. I will finish what my grandfather started. Sarevok brought this city to its knees, but I will be the one to slit its throat. I am Bhaal's chosen.
Okay, so this is entirely different. Normally what happens right there, I guess she's angry that you killed her grandfather, which makes sense. You will immediately get dropped into a persuasion check, where you have to remind Orin about the deal you made. And it's a DC 25 persuasion check to get her to release whoever you have on the altar, whether it's Lae'zel or whether it's somebody else. Here, because Sarevok is still alive, we don't have to persuade her to do anything. All we have to do is remind her of it. So it's probably a good idea if you finish this off first and then go back and take Sarevok afterwards, because like I say, even for my Paladin here, a DC 25 check is pretty high to make. So here, this also opens up this dialogue option that I was waiting for. You shouldn't listen to Sarevok. He ordered your mother to kill you. So I'm pretty sure this is just going to upset her. But we'll see how it goes, because I have not seen this played out. This is only here if you've talked to Helena, her mother, we speak with the dead, and found out about this.
No! He didn't! He didn't! Filthy, pig-mouthed little liar! Grandfather loves me! He worships me! How dare you smear his name! It will not save you.
Okay, so this is interesting. I have a persuasion check here. And some, ooh boy, these are some serious, look at the wording on these. Sarevok is your father, Orin. He abused your mother. He abused you. Wow, there's some very, very interesting dialogues here. So let's go with the persuasion option here and see what happens. Here's the DC 25 persuasion check. You can see what I'm sitting at right now. So I could add advantage on top of this, and I might as well, because I don't care if she gets upset with me or not. Oh, and I rolled a nat 20. That's my third one.
No, not him. Not him. I did all this for him. Everything. Everything.
No, Orin.
Father, they lied to me. They lied!
Hush, child. No more doubts. No more fears. No more Orin. Become murder.
Okay, so the end result's the same. It's just how you get there. You still end up, she has just been forcibly transformed into the Slayer form, where otherwise she does it on her own. So, but this has something else. Okay, that's interesting. So through all of that, she's gained a Mistmost Scarlet. So she's got 25 temporary hit points, a +2 bonus to strength, and advantage on wisdom saving throws. So I don't remember that being there in my previous playthroughs. So she's got some bonuses here because of that. So interesting. So the main things about this fight, the mechanics. Again, she's got perfect sentry, so she can't be surprised. She has evasion, so she can avoid damage to a lot of spells and other effects and that sort of stuff. She has an additional bonus action, which she uses to do something called Slay. You can't polymorph her. She has uncanny dodge, so she only takes half the usual damage when she gets hit, and she has an additional extra attack. So instead of just one extra attack, she can make two, and you'll see that kind of play out as we go through this. The main thing though was unstoppable. So unstoppable means that all damage that she takes is reduced by 1. And then every time she gets damage caused to her, her charges of unstoppable drop. Now, what I mentioned previously is that the boon of Bhaal is at the end of every turn. So she's going to get 7 turns of unstoppable every time the turn resets, because the round resets, because the boon will refresh that at the end of every turn. Now, the way to stop the boon from refreshing is to kill the 6 Reapers that are around the outside. Now you can see that they all have Sanctuary, but you can damage them with indirect or AoE spells and abilities. As long as you don't target them directly, then you can still damage them. You can knock them off this platform with things like Thunder Wave or Repelling Blast. As long as you target Repelling Blast behind them, that sort of stuff. So there are ways to get rid of them. Every one that you get rid of will lower the amount of unstoppable that gets refreshed at the end of the round. So right now, she's always going to have 1 turn of unstoppable that she gets at the next round. Because there are 6 Reapers alive, she gets 6 more. So if I kill 3 of them this round, then when the boon refreshes, she won't have 7, she'll have 4. Her normal 1 that she gets plus the other 3 that are still alive. So the more of them you kill, the less amount of unstoppable turns she has available to her. Now, there is an achievement here for killing Orin while the Reapers are still chanting. Okay, so to do that, you need to remove all 7 turns of her unstoppable, and then start causing damage to her, and then maybe the turn will reset, and you have to remove more turns of unstoppable in the next round and do more damage to be able to kill her. Okay, if that kind of makes sense. Now, it's actually not all that difficult to do this. So what we're what we're going to do here is, now that Gale and Shadowheart are not in combat, I'm going to leave Shadowheart completely out of combat. I am not going to bring her into this at all. I'm going to leave her up there to deal with the stun if the stun happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do with Gale is bring him up here to the corner. And I'm going to have him upcast Magic Missile. Right now it's 3, now it's 6, now it's 7 projectiles. So I can remove all 7 of Orin's Unstoppables with 1 spell cast from Gale. Okay. So now if you look at her, she has no Unstoppables left. So now I can do full damage against her for this round.
Go for the throat.
Now, Astarion, being Astarion, if we look at Orin's resistances, she has none. So I am going to fly Astarion right up here next to her. Now you can see that she has now gained the Aura of Murder, so she is vulnerable to piercing damage. He already rolled his first crit. Rolled a 22. Why don't we throw a crit on top of that? So, when I say that this fight is not all that difficult, this is what I mean. So, Astarion with the Aura of Murder is... he's just OP. I mean, it just is what it is. So, before you go into a lot of the big fights here in Act 2, or in Act 3, rush the Investigate the Murders quest as soon as you land in Act 3, so that you can go talk to Sarevok and you can buy the ballast armor, because that takes his damage to stupid levels. Okay, because you are doubling all of the damage that he gets, okay, from these. And that's what makes this fight just not so hard. We still haven't even used our Dread Ambusher or our Action Surge, which is what we are going to do now. I'm going to move here. He has 2 turns of Unstoppable, so how about we try and remove... that's a good point. Do we still have the Psychic Spark on us? We might not. It's been a while since I've used it. Yeah, we don't have it. I guess we can... yeah, we don't have it. I was looking for a way to remove those 2 turns. So let's provoke this attack of opportunity instead. And we'll move over here. Sure, we'll throw Executioner on that. And that just one hit him. Okay, so I would really like to be able to remove this. Oh, I can do it with Shadowheart. I have Scorching Ray. As long as I can hit. Oh, come on. Yes. Okay, so let's see if we can hit here. A crit, nice. Okay, so that removed all of her unstoppable turns. Now we'll go back to Astarion, and we will action surge. And again. Okay. And now we are left with nobody who's going to cast AoE spells at all. The only people who do it are Orin and the Death's Head. Okay, so if you can eliminate them, then now Lae'zel is no longer in danger here for this. So it's interesting that she has the thoroughly stuffed condition. I know why, but it's persisted. She hasn't rested through all of our long rests. She had it in the camp when she was kidnapped, and it stayed there the entire time. So now we move into phase 2 of this fight. And that would have gotten you the achievement. I had already gotten it, so you didn't hear it proc. But phase 2 is now the fight against the Reapers. Now the Reapers, they're under Sanctuary right now. They won't be under Sanctuary very long, but they have the aura of murder as well. They're just able to do it as part of their abilities. So their daggers are going to cause double damage against us. But they have another trait here, and that is that at the end of their turn, they can go invisible. That's why having the See Invisibility trait is so important here during this, so that we can move around and try and find them when they go invisible. We know where they are and we can ping them, which is certainly going to help. But having See Invisibility to drop them hopefully out of that invisibility is really nice. Oh, and he hit.
Take our zeal! Take our
Okay, there's the Shroud Self. And he passed the check. So after every turn, at the end of their turn, they're going to go invisible. Okay, they're still there, but they're just, like I say, now invisible. So let's drop a healing word onto Astarion here.
Take two.
Stalker of Gehenna's wastes, take our zeal, take our blood.
Okay, he failed his check. Ouch. He failed his check. And he failed his. Okay, so this is why having those checks is so important. Now, Astarion soloed Orin with only half of his move, or half of his action points, basically. So but topple the big folk is very, very useful against Orin in her Slayer form. It's huge additional damage because she's a large creature, so she takes an additional 2d6 slashing damage, and she has to succeed a strength saving throw or fall prone. Now, she has a high strength, so she doesn't fall prone very often, but it's a huge amount of extra damage that you can throw out there with one of your attacks. Throwing a level 3 Divine Smite on top of it just ends the game. So let's go ahead and start trying to whittle down the Reapers here. Okay, so there's one. So let's see. Let's try and move up here. Try and knock this one out of invisibility. Okay, so he's saved.
Their chances.
And as far as Gale goes, we'll again just leave him up here. Okay, so for Astarion, we know we have one right next to him here, but we can't target him with anything in particular. However, we do have Force Tunnel. So it did knock him down, but he's still invisible. It didn't knock him out of invisibility, because he's still there. You can see him. So let's fly off here. That was my action, right? Yep. So I can't do anything else. Right? Yep. Can't. Okay, so let's just move back to him. Failed his check that time. They are just hyper focused on Astarion. Okay, so let's bring out no, that's bad. Let's bring out, let's see where, so there, and where's he at? He's way over there. I think that's too far. Where's he at? Way over there. Maybe. He's right there at that intersection. Okay, so maybe that will get him. Where's this guy at? He's definitely in it. Let's move a little bit more. That's definitely going to get him. That's going to get all three of them. and we are definitely going to drop a higher level healing word on Astarion.
Take your
Okay, now for Ale. Not a problem.
A metallic tang fills the air as the Slayer's form is drained of life. Ashes to ashes, blood to blood, you have robbed another god of his chosen.
So, we have the final stone. I need to see it for myself. There it is. So innocent, but such potential. You have done very well indeed.
The Netherstones pulse with psionic energy, permeating you, pulling you in line with their rhythm. The thrum quickens, rising, cresting on a single feeling. A location.
A morphic pool beneath the city itself. So that's where the Chosen imprison the brain. To conceal it, one would imagine. And to maintain the illusion of their own control above ground. With the stones in hand, and the Chosen dead, we stand as good a chance as we ever will. As to how good a chance that is, I cannot say. But I have hope. When we reach the pool, we will find the brain, and we will end this. In death, thraldom, or freedom. But a word of caution. Once we cross into the Elder Brain's domain, there will be no turning back. Finish your business here before you proceed. The brain will be waiting for us.
Okay. And yes, Lord Henry, Astarion certainly did smash Orin. That fight is just a little bit unfair. You know, in all reality, it's just like I say, it's a little bit unfair. For Orin, that is. So now you can do a little bit of searching. There's a bunch of stuff that you can get from the Reapers down here, which you can sell. But the main thing is Orin's gore pile here. Studded leather armor +2, meh. The mutilated carapace is the armor that you see her wear. So you gain a +1 to attack and damage rolls while shape-shifting or disguised. So right now, Astarion and my Paladin would gain a +1 to attack and damage rolls. It's a huge drop in armor class, but for anybody who is wearing clothing and not armor, for instance, a monk or a barbarian that's relying on unarmored defense, the mutilated carapace can gain you an additional +1 to attack and damage as long as you just shapeshift them before or right after they do a long rest and as part of your buff up routine. The main thing about this is that you have advantage on deception checks and persuasion checks. So if you know you're going into a persuasion check or deception check, put this on before you do it, it's a free way to gain advantage, so you don't have to use your enhance ability spell slot to do it. The +1 armor class is just nice because it is clothing, so instead of 10, it's now 11. There's an altar key here, which we're going to use to unlock the altar with Lae'zel on it. The other thing is Crimson Mischief. Now, Crimson Mischief
Someone there
is probably going to force a... not force. It's probably going to result in a change in how I play Astarion. Duelist Prerogative is very, very nice. It is, I think, still the best weapon for playing Astarion's type of Gloomstalker rogue or Gloomstalker assassin build. However, I think Crimson Mischief is, if not the same, potentially slightly better, but is definitely number 2 at the very least. The reason for it is that Duelist Prerogative, again, gives you a full damage main hand attack using your bonus action. Crimson Mischief is a short sword, which means I can dual wield it because it's light and finesse. So if I put something in the offhand slot, I'm going to gain damage from that. But it's not normally as much as a main hand attack. So that bonus action, being able to attack with that other dagger or short sword or scimitar or whatever it is probably not going to be as much as the damage I want to be able to do with Duelist Prerogative using that same bonus action. The drop in the crit from Duelist Prerogatives is still amazing, and the bonus damage from Necrotic for Withering Cut is, again, very, very nice to have. What makes Crimson Mischief stand out is 2 things. So, first, this weapon deals an additional 1d4 piercing against targets with 50% of their hit points or fewer. So on that first round, where everybody still has full hit points, this is only going to proc after you've attacked a target and taken it down to 50% or less of their hit points. Because everybody has full hit points when Astarion is normally going. However, that doesn't mean that it won't proc, because as soon as you get a single target down to that point, you're going to gain that additional piercing damage. That additional piercing damage is what puts it above the damage for Duelist Prerogative on a base level. The other thing, though, is that when you make an attack with advantage, the target takes an additional 7 piercing damage. That is not showing up in the list at the top. So now Crimson Mischief, if you're on that first round, you've got Assassin's Initiative, which is gaining you advantage on all of your attacks against enemies that have not taken a turn yet. Now Crimson Mischief is just doing a flat additional 7 piercing damage every time it lands. So I think the damage that Crimson Mischief can do on its own in that first round outweighs what Duelist Prerogative can do. And then you throw in the offhand weapon to go along with it, and I think Crimson Mischief now comes out on top of it. However, the second round, where Duelist Prerogative is able to gain a full damage bonus action, and even when you don't have advantage on your attacks, I think Crimson Mischief starts, and an offhand weapon starts to fall behind a little bit. But for that first round, it's definitely better. So they're very, very close to each other in this. I'm going to probably swap out Astarion to be dual wielding again. Now that I have access to Crimson Mischief, just for that initial Nova burst in that first round. I think it's way too impressive, the amount of damage that he can do in that first round, especially upping it with Crimson Mischief. Okay, so now we're going to click on the altar.
captive by that disgusting creature. An error I'm glad you swiftly rectified. To camp. I will not let my guard slip again. I swear by Mother Gith's Scion.
So she is carrying the silver sword of the astral plane, because she got it, and we had it equipped on her after we made our deal with Astarion, and Kithrak Voss gave it to us. But other than that, everything else about her gear is going to be crap. And like I say, she's in a lot of danger in that fight, so I tend not to even deal with the captive. Just stay away from the altar while Orin's alive and while these two are alive, and they'll be fine. So now for Astarion. So if I swap this out, okay, and now I have an offhand opened up, and I can swap in either Knife or the Undermountain King, because right now I'm getting 19 and 20. $18, 19, and 20 are crits. If I put Knife of the Undermountain King here, now I'm going to be critting on 17, 18, 19, and 20. Which means 20% of the time I'm going to be rolling a critical hit just on itself. The other thing is I could leave it at 17 and put in the Sword of Life Stealing, and now on a crit I'm doing extra necrotic damage and I'm gaining temporary hit points. So either one of these two are now really good options. However, there's also Rhapsody. So this is where the bleeding comes in again. For Astarion, though, where Rhapsody really triggers is with the +1 bonus to attack rolls, damage, and spell save DC. Now, I don't have Astarion spec'd out as an Arcane Trickster, but he gets that bonus for scrolls that he chooses to work off of, and any of that sort of stuff as well. However, I think Rhapsody in this case is just not really right for his build, so to speak. So I have some options here on what I can do. Now the other thing is that the Knife of the Undermountain King is going to guarantee me advantage on lightly or heavily obscured targets. So if I'm fighting in darkness, I'm always going to have advantage, and that means I am always going to be proccing the additional 7 damage from Crimson Mischief, and because of the Ballast Armor, it's no longer 7 damage, it's 14. So the Knife of the Undermountain King is probably the better offhand weapon to use here, just for his base damage increase, because now it's not just the first round where he's got advantage on everything, but it's every other round where he's fighting in darkness. Okay, so I think that kind of gets us Bloodthirst. I forgot to talk about. Bloodthirst is the main weapon that she uses, and I had actually completely forgotten about this. So with Bloodthirst, the number you need to roll a crit is reduced by 1. So now I can definitely take him, if I pair these up, I can take him down to 17, 18, 19, and 20. If I pair it with the Knife of the Undermountain King and drop Crimson Mischief, I'm now at 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So now I'm critting 25% of the time with just my normal weapon strikes. However, the thing with this is that creatures hit with this weapon receive vulnerability to piercing damage. That's the main thing that you use Bloodthirst for, is to give vulnerability to piercing damage. So you use your offhand attack, or your main hand, it doesn't really matter, to attack first, give that creature vulnerability, and then attack with Crimson Mischief afterwards. However, we don't need the exploit weakness here, because the Ballast Armor gives that to us. Okay, so Bloodthirst is nice for the reduction in critical hit numbers, But the main thing about Bloodthirst is exploit weakness, and we don't need that. So it's not something that we need to really deal with. Now, both Crimson Mischief and Bloodthirst have offhand only options. So for Crimson Mischief, when you attack with your offhand weapon, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the attack, which is what the dual wielder feat does. So if you don't have it, you don't have to respec with Crimson Mischief. You can just put this in your offhand. For Bloodthirst, you gain armor class +1, which again can be nice. And when a creature misses you with a melee attack, you may retaliate and gain True Strike. So this is like the riposte. Fighter trait, Battle Master trait, where you can attack, making a response attack full value with your weapon. And you're going to gain True Strike, which means that that next attack is going to have advantage, which pairs up really nicely with Crimson Mischief. So that's why these two pair up well together. However, again, the main thing is the exploit weakness here, and we don't need that with ours. So I think we're better served with Knife of the Undermountain King guaranteeing us advantage so that Crimson Mischief can proc all of the time.
Is that blood?
Okay, so we are done down here. There's some other things that we can explore this entire upper area. There's nothing really around here to take a look at. We can just walk our way out that way, I guess. But see, all of the Death's Heads and Reapers and everybody, they're still here. They're not hostile or anything like that. You have Flaming Fists and some various other people or bodies that are out here. Some stuff you can pick up and sell, but none of them respond to Speak with the Dead. So there's nothing really else up here other than picking up some stuff that you can sell. Now we are again still red bordered. We need to move outside of the red outline here for that to go away. Okay, and now we need to go take care of Sarevok. We are not going to let him get away scot-free on this. So let's go to the Basilisk Gate. Forgot about this part. So, once you pop out of there, the first time that you now have all three of the Netherstones, now the hold over the Elder Brain has weakened, and they are able to transform some of the citizens into Mindflayers. And you've got 3 of them, and can't remember where oh, there's the third one way over here. Okay. So we're going to get Astarion out here first. He's got advantage on all of these in the first round. Let's deal with... yeah, let's see if we can deal with these 2. Oh, have mercy. He just one-shot him. Without even the sneak attack damage. Oh my. I love... oh my. He's so strong. So let's go move over here now. Look at all the damage numbers he's stacking up. That was a 50. Oh. Oh boy, Astarion. Let's just let you go solo everything. Okay, the Mindflayer is now blinded. Now, hopefully, yes, he goes after me. There's an opportunity attack. Yet. Oh, that was a mistake. So, I don't think I won't need it. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, jeez.
We must discover where it is hidden.
He critted again. Oh, Astarion. Just harsh. What is Red Vein Savagery? So I understand everything that's happening here. I understand the necrotic damage that's happening from Crimson Mischief and Vampire Ascendant. The vulnerabilities being applied there. What is Red Vein Savagery? Why am I rolling another... Oh, no, no, that was a damage roll. 7. Why am I rolling a damage roll again? What is Red Vein Savagery?
What now?
What did I miss? Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. So, somehow, it thought that attack was made with advantage. It wasn't. I did not have advantage on the second round. I was not... Unless it was lightly obscured. Oh. It might have been lightly obscured.
Subtle steps.
Let me go stand over here. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I'm not getting the lightly obscured symbol here. So I'm not entirely sure why it thought that was advantage. If I was lightly obscured or something, I would have seen it during the attack roll, and I certainly didn't. So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth here, but still, not entirely sure why I'm getting the extra bonus damage there.
Don't waste a step.
I don't know if I have that or not, Lord Henry. I'll have to go look. I'll look off stream and see if I do. I'm not even sure I actually ever picked it up, to be honest.
Never much time for lords myself.
No, I think I did. I think I remember doing it. But I'll go look. So we're going to move around here. We're going to make our way back down into the Murder Tribunal.
Like I was born in a bathtub.
And for this, we're going to go in hiding. Okay, because I'm not entirely sure how this might have changed down here, now that we've killed Orin first. So we'll see if the guards here are angry or not. Doesn't look like they are. They're yellow bordered. But let's not take any chances. We'll take Astarion in here.
Let's go.
Okay, so they don't appear to be hostile. Okay, let's see. Now that we're behind them, we'll go into hiding again. Is anybody here red bordered? No. Okay, well, this is... yeah, nobody's hostile, so...
Radio note.
We'll bring everybody in here. It's safer to close the doors behind you, but you normally don't have to. Now, Sarevok has perfect sentry, so he cannot be surprised. The echoes do not have it, but you can see the echoes are actually the much more dangerous of the two. You do not want to focus Sarevok during this encounter. Sarevok is fairly easy to deal with. The spells that the Echo of Sendai and the Echo of Ilisera can cast as sorcerers really hurt. The Echo of Emelisan and of Abazagal are melee types, so they're not nearly as worrisome either. It's the two echoes on either side that you really need to be worried about.
Can't give up now.
So I'm going to break my group here, and there's a large section back here in the corner where
swift as my
you can go into hiding. I'm going to put my Paladin right up next to Sarevok, because my Paladin is going to end up going after Sarevok. I'm going to have Astarion try and clear out everybody down here.
My faith protects me. I'll take this way.
Shadowheart will be there to cast guidance to protect us for round 2.
It shall be done.
And Gale's just going to throw out whatever damage he can during this time. So let's get Astarion kicking things off.
Violence hasn't gone unnoticed. It's about to be returned in kind.
Okay. Did I not put them in hiding? I don't know why they're in combat. Okay, so again, first round. Here we go. Dead. Dead. And we might as well work on these two. Okay, through a crit. Nice. Oh, and he threw a crit. Okay, so he cleared out all of those. Now you notice that Sarevok has changed a little bit. Okay, and that's because as you start to kill them, he gets additional bonuses. Okay, when you start killing the other people in the room. So he's now going to heal 2d12 hit points every time he makes it or he lands a hit. His armor class went up by 6, and he's permanently hastened, and he can't be paralyzed or restrained or anything like that. Okay, Now, one thing that Sarevok cannot do is see in the dark.
Can't give up. Not now.
Going to cast Sanctuary on Astarion.
You need to pick me up.
Shall cut and run.
I will not tolerate impudence. This place shall be your grave.
Okay, there's the permanently hastened that we saw. It's not normally a big deal, like I say, with him. This is why I say, even though he's going to gain some buffs here, focus on other things other than him when you're going through this. So now again with Gale, since he has such a high armor class, I'm going to focus on things that are not going to miss. And I should have hexed first.
Another fight. Let's go.
Okay, and now me, I still have a 70% chance to hit here because he's blinded. Right? So I still have opportunities here. And I'm going to further expand on those a little bit. How big is Sarevok? He looks large. He's medium. So I still can use this. It's just not going to do the additional 2d12. And I missed. Okay, now for Astarion, again, he's now he should be heavily obscured. So he's obviously much harder to hit, but we can get a 100% chance to hit with the Ascendant Bite. Gonna take a second to land. There it is. Now he's got the Bloodless trait. So he's got -1 to attack rolls now, which is going to benefit us. I don't think I need to do this. But I might as well try. It's got a 36% chance to land. Oh, and it landed. Okay. Oh, I forgot he's immune to being paralyzed. So, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a mistake on my part. When he absorbed her, he gained immunity to being paralyzed.
Let's end this.
Okay, so here... to move back.
The taste of the tang of death. It has been far too long.
I would prefer that he not be going after me. Okay, so now he's got Deathbringer's Legacy. So I was hoping I'd be able to finish him off before this. So the one thing that makes him dangerous is Deathbringer's Legacy. Every time he hits, and again, I probably shouldn't have moved Shadowheart and Gale in that close. I should have left them out by the door, you know, in another room or something like that, so that he's focusing on trying to hit me with a 26 armor class and missing all the time. Because every time he hits, I'm not worried about the healing that he gets. That's not a big thing for me. It's the fact that he brings up stacks of Deathbringer's Legacy. Once he gets 4 stacks of Deathbringer's Legacy, he can now use Deathbringer Assault until the end of his turn. Okay? So, Deathbringer Assault is, he has 4 attacks now because he's hasted, and each one can do 20 to 200 damage. Right? So, you absolutely have to kill him before he gets another turn. If you don't, you're going to have some serious problems. Okay.
Never a dull moment.
I don't necessarily think that's going to be a problem now, because the one thing that happens when he goes into Deathbringer's Legacy is that he loses all of his buffs. So he's no longer the high armor class, he's no longer hasted, he's no longer immune to being paralyzed, and that sort of stuff. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to end him here without an issue, but again, you normally don't want to let him get to this point. Now we'll go finish
I'll strike you down.
Bozidol, and we should be done.
I wonder what the next move is. What's next?
I've got a long road ahead.
Alright, so now Sarevok. So, 2 things here. The first is the Sword of Chaos. It's a 2-handed greatsword. On a hit, you regain 1d6 hit points. Remember, my Paladin gets 3 attacks per round. If I do a respec on him, I can actually up that to 6 attacks per round. And if they all hit, now I'm getting 6 to 36 points of healing every round that I go into combat. So if you are focused on sustained combat against a bunch of enemies that are trying to hit you, specifically like during the Raphael fight, getting the Sword of Chaos before you go do that can be very, very useful. It will allow you to keep your hit points topped up as you go through those rounds. But it is very much focused on defense as opposed to offense, which is what Baldur's Giant Slayer does. So 2 very different ways of going about it. I still like Baldur's Giant Slayer better, but the Sword of Chaos is very, very useful in certain fights. Next thing is Sarevok's Horned Helmet. You gain Dark Vision out to a range of 3 meters, or 15 if you already have it. The number you need to roll a crit is reduced by 1. This effect can stack. You can't be frightened and cannot be affected with other emotion-altering conditions. Constitution saving throws +1. So now, with Astarion, I have the option...
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Well, hello.
Of pairing Bloodthirst with Knife of the Undermountain King with Sarevok's helmet and with the Shadeslayer cloak that I have, and now I have 19 and 20. I have 17 or 18, 19 and 20. 17, 18, 19 and 20. And 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So now again I'm at 30% chance to crit if I equipped all of these items, and still have vulnerability to piercing damage for anybody that I attack with. And now you start getting into the realm of, even though I might be doing less damage by swapping off of Crimson Mischief, am I over a length of an encounter doing more damage because I am critting more often, by 10% more often, by swapping out Crimson Mischief? And that's a very interesting debate to have. There's actually you can run the numbers on it and do it. I haven't done it. I am going to, though, swap out to Sarevok's Horned Helmet. This is going to lose Blind Sight, and again, +2 bonus to saving throws. So I'm going to lose that with Astarion. So I'm going to have to swap out one of my rings to put the Eversight ring back on. And I'm going to swap out Killer's Sweetheart to do it. I like the Paralyze option for Ghoulish Touch, and I still have another option to paralyze as well. So Ring of Exalted Marrow and the Killer's Sweetheart may swap out periodically with each other. But now I'm critting 25% of the time with that helmet. And crits, especially when I have advantage, gaining me that additional 14 piercing damage are just, like I say, Astarion is now truly the ascended assassin that he needs to be. I should have had him kill the angry flying elephant, so he could become the unholy assassin, because he is exactly that right now.
Let's get going.
So the last thing that we're going to do, we can fast travel out of here. The last thing that we are going to do is head back to the Temple of Bhaal. There's one more fight that we need to have.
Never wanted the easy path.
And I can take my other short rest. I need to look behind me. And yeah, this way. Because, like I say, we're at a point of no return, almost, and we're going to take a long rest before that point of no return. And I don't want to have any wasted action economy. So to do that, we're going to head up here, the top of the stairs. We're going to take a right. We're going to go back to where we saw those rats. Hey, Em, welcome. You missed watching Astarion solo Orin. It was a sight to see. Okay. So there's something special about the cranium rats, and I don't know if it shows up. Oh, it does. After the cranium rat takes damage, the attacker must make an intelligence saving throw or become confused. Okay? Confused is bad. The affected entity is hostile to everyone, wanders around aimlessly, and occasionally skips turns in its stupor. So if you go in here with Shadowheart, with her Spirit Guardians, as soon as the first one dies and she fails her saving throw, it's going to drop Spirit Guardians. Right? So it's a useless way of fighting this. It does not work. Right? Now, there are other things that you can do to cause damage to the rats. And honestly, I think one of the easiest
all right, what now? I need to find a way forward.
How
I want to try and get them not following me.
On my way.
I want to get them to go back down there. Okay, so I've got one to deal with here. I think that'll be okay. Or two to deal with. So, again, a lot of rats, but those rats all have 2 hit points. They just have a special little ability with them that you kind of don't want to get in front of. I'm gonna throw another one out there.
Have a lot on my mind and, well, in it. Time to press ahead.
I'm going to have my Paladin move up here to take the brunt of these if they make it through. And have him kill these 2. Alright, so I will move Astarion back.
Let's spill some blood. Time to move.
Environmental effects do not reflect on who threw the object as damage. So they're dying here, and the game doesn't recognize that Astarion was the one who threw the alchemist fire. So he's not having to pass saving throws right now, or anything like that. So again, I'm just gonna stay here. There's one. He's burning. He'll be dead at the start of his next turn.
Those call to us, their bearers will come to us.
So one of them got through. Oh, he was saving against confused. weird. It didn't do that in my testing. Okay, well that's interesting. Well, still, it's better to use something like this than it is Spirit Guardians, because as soon as she becomes confused, it drops her concentration. Here, there's no concentration involved. So, he's going to die next turn, so I don't have to do anything. Gonna have to throw another one out there. Where are these two? Okay, so they're all here. He's right there. He's burning. Yeah, like I say, he's dead this turn. Alright, so... yeah, that's weird. That did not happen in my off stream of this same playthrough. Like I say, I played this forward, and that didn't happen. So, again, searching the cranium rats, there's nothing you're going to find on any of them. So, you don't have to worry about any of those. There is another chest over here. Potion invisibility, very nice. Going to be very, very useful.
Another step forward.
One less we have to stock up on. Pale orange dye, doesn't really matter. Here on the table, you learn about when the Emperor was captured by Gortash, and the interrogation that took place, and you learn a little bit about his history and how he was able to evade coming under control of the Elder Brain. And here is the skiff. Now, when you click on it, it tells you there is no turning back. You no longer have access to your camp or the items there. New players will not be able to join your party. So this is definitely the last point in the game, and that's why there's a waypoint here. Because we are definitely going to, off stream, do some other things to prepare us for that final aspect. And like I mentioned during chatting, I'm not entirely sure that I'll be able to get through all of that in one live stream. 3 hours is a long time, so I might be able to. I'm just not entirely sure yet, because still, as of this very moment, I have still not finished a full playthrough of this game. So after 1,500 hours right now, I still have not finished a single playthrough of this game. So during this week, I will be playing through that to see how long it's going to take. But the Paladin live stream is either going to end next week or the week after. The Bard live stream is we have to replay the Raphael fight, which is going to take the first 45 minutes to an hour of the live stream. And then we have to do these same things here. So that definitely will not finish the week after next. It will probably take 3 more playthroughs on the Bard this coming week, and then 2 more weeks after that. So either way, what I had mentioned previously is that I am going to take a break after these 2 live streams are done. I will still have the auto mode playthrough that we'll be doing, but I won't be starting anything else up immediately because I'm waiting for the release of Dragon Age, which is going to happen at the end of October. So if the Paladin live stream is done in 2 weeks, then I'll have approximately a month where I will get all of your input on what you would like to see me play next. Whether it be this game, another playthrough of this with different main characters, or whether you want to see something else as far as different games go. We'll talk about all that, and then sometime around the first week of November or the second week of November, we will start up at least one new playthrough, and we will kind of go from there. So, rapidly coming to the end of these 2 live streams, and it's been amazing to see all of you to be here through all of these, because remember, we're at episode 51 on this. That is 51 weeks, at least. There have been a few weeks off, 1 for vacation, and 3 of them, I think, because of storms or internet problems or whatever. So we've been at this for over a year, and looking back, it's hard to visualize that y'all have been here for that long. I can't thank you enough. So, as always, thank you all for being here. Your support throughout all of this has been amazing, and it will continue to be amazing, I'm sure, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.
They've really made a meal